Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is your girl, Faith. This is the podcast, Truth or Flesh. So, we're going to be talking about that and diving into what is truth and what is flesh. So, we are going to be discussing a very controversial subject, and it is about the late Charlie Kirk. He was a very controversial person. We're going to be talking about his widow, Erika Kirk, as well as Candace Owens. And if you don't know what's going on, I'm very surprised because it's very popular what's going on here. And I wanted to dive into this subject and state some things that I feel that need to be stated. So during this episode, this is episode 2. We're going to listen to those that I call, and they will be voicing their opinion about all this. You guys, I want you to know that you have 2 minutes because we're going to have to shorten it because I have a series of videos that I'm going to go through that are very important. And I'm going to build something here. So everyone, if someone's not familiar with what's going on, they'll have the perspective of what's going on with all of this. It has divided the country, and it is really something. It is, I would say it's very spiritual. The things that we're going through in life, period, are spiritual because ultimately we're going to leave this world. And so ultimately things that we think are natural are spiritual. But I'm going to be making phone calls to some people to voice their opinion. And these amazing people are aspiring models and models who will be voicing their opinion about this subject of the late Charlie Kirk. Was he a racist? Was he not? Was he a truth teller? Who was he? Who is his wife, or who do you believe her to be? And Candace Owens, who is she? Okay, so again, I'm going to be making some phone calls, and when I call your name, you should be prepared to receive the call and voice your opinion. You have 2 minutes. So everything that you want to get out, I would say it's best to think about it now. Because you won't be able to, when I go into some more things later and my take on all this, you'll be able to comment. So I encourage everybody to comment in the comment section. For those aspiring models that have brought on guests, we welcome you. We welcome all of you guys. Thank you again for tuning in to Truth or Flesh. So I want those who we will not be calling that were invited by our people who will be voicing their opinion over the phone, those who are invited to comment in the comment section. Make sure you do that. Name the person who invited you. Let us know that you are commenting on their behalf. And then go into what you feel about this in the comment section. You may even be able to chat it, but I kind of like to see it in the comment section as well, your comments. But again, you must emphasize the person who invited you to this podcast. Let us know that I am commenting on behalf of whatever the person's name is, whoever invited you, and then go ahead and make your comment about all of this. So I'm going to get into it because this is going to be a little bit extensive. So I'm letting you guys know that. It's a series of videos, but it's going to break everything down so that there will be clarity on what's going on. And this is not coming from my mouth. This is coming from the mouth of Erika herself and Candace Owens. Okay? So we're going to dive into this to see what is truth. Okay, I'm going to start first with Charlie Kirk and some of the things he would say that were controversial. some of the things that stirred people up, that made people angry. Okay, so we're going to start with that. So let's take a look at this.
Your personality is unique to you. Your gender is a category that you fall into.
I thought that gender is fluid.
Why are the IDF soldiers fighting Christian people during Easter? They're not allowing them to go into church.
Actually, that's not true. So let's talk about that. That's a lie.
Why don't you believe that white privilege exists?
Is there anything that you can't do that I can do?
So hold on a moment. Let me start that over.
We could do the same things if we put our minds to it.
Good. Then there's no white privilege.
You know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
Okay, I'm going to transition again. Sorry, I had to turn something off. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to make sure I got everything off because sometimes I forget that. Okay, let's go again.
Your personality is unique to you. Your gender is a category that you fall into.
I thought that gender is fluid.
Why are the IDF soldiers fighting Christian people during Easter? They're not allowing them to go into church.
Actually, that's not true. So let's talk about that. That's a lie.
Why don't you believe that white privilege exists?
Is there anything that you can't do that I can do?
No, we could do the same things if we put our minds to it.
Good. Then there's no white privilege.
You know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
White privilege is a racist myth that is rooted in bigotry, trying to classify people based on their skin color. If you are a racist, you have something to apologize for. If you're a white person who is not a racist, you have nothing to apologize for.
So you're comparing abortion to the Holocaust?
Absolutely, I am. In fact, it's worse.
Millions of supporters followed his social media and podcast, and he became known for touring the US and exchanges like this.
They were less murderous. There was less break-ins. Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm asking you the question.
He would debate issues like transgender identity, climate change, faith and family values, and gun control. A few years ago, he said this.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment.
He spread anti-transgender views and doubts over the COVID-19 pandemic, and also publicly promoted the false claim that the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump. In 2021, he married a former Miss Arizona and has had 2 children. Many tributes have flooded social media, including President Donald Trump.
Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Okay, so there you have it. So that's Charlie making some controversial statements, and it ticked a lot of people off. But Charlie also had a lot of supporters, okay? It wasn't only people who hated him, but there were people who supported him as well, okay? He stated that he did not believe that there was more than 2 genders, okay? He didn't believe that there was any white privilege currently at this time. So he believed that back in the day, possibly, but not currently. He said that abortion was like the Holocaust, okay? That it was worse, actually, is what he said. So he believed that people who were called white people, stating that they have white privilege, that they were being racist against white people, saying that. Notice in the clip he said that if you're racist, then yes, you got a problem. There's a problem within you. But if you're not racist, he felt like, why should every white person have to be condemned or pay for what their ancestors did? So that was his take on this, okay? On a lot of subjects. He didn't believe in DEI. He felt like it should be cut out. And we'll talk about that a little further down, why he felt that. So I'm going to go to another one. This is about Candace. Let's take a look at this. Hold on a moment. See if I can bring
I think I've always been curious about success and wanted to learn how to be successful myself. So my path was somewhat natural in that regard. I never hated rich people. It's a very weird thing to me that people demonize the rich.
Do you hate anyone?
No, I think hate's a terrible emotion because it you harvest it internally. So if you hate someone, you hate them.
Okay, so Candace is talking there about hate. She says that when someone hates someone, then they are the ones that are most miserable because they hate. Okay, but there have been people stating that she hates because she says she's getting down to the truth of Charlie's murder. So she doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. She doesn't believe that. She believes that he could have possibly been set up, or he was the young, vulnerable one that someone influenced to take the blame, is what she believes. So she doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson was the one who pulled the trigger. She also believes that Turning Point, the organization that Charlie Kirk built, turned their backs on him. She feels that they were very suspicious during, at the time that he was murdered, how they reacted. Mikey McCoy is one of the staff people there, one of the very close people. He was very close to Charlie Kirk. And she felt like that Mikey McCoy acted very strangely after Charlie was shot, that he walked away and jumped on the phone instead of running over to help Charlie. Okay, she felt like many people at Turning Point, they were responsible for being in on his murder, that they wanted him dead. They wanted to own the company and get rid of him. So she did not imply that Erika Kirk, Charlie's wife, she did not to come out and say that Erika was part of the murder, but she alluded to it. Okay, but initially you'll see how she acted toward Erika. You'll see what she does. But this is the case here with Candace. Now, I wanted to show her when she was younger. That's when she was younger, and she talked about hate and how hate can eat someone up. That they're the one that's miserable when they hate. But again, people are saying on one side of the country, in the world, because this is a worldwide thing going on here with Candace Owens and Erika Kirk. One side of the world is saying that she is very evil, to blame TPUSA and to come against Erika. But Candace feels like the truth has to be told. We're going to talk about that. Let's go to the next clip. This is a clip of Erika.
That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That young man, I forgive him.
Now, many people criticize that clip. So Erika is stating that she forgives the young man that murdered her husband. Okay, Tyler Robinson. She's stating there that she forgives him. There are many people who say, how can you forgive someone so quickly when your husband was just murdered? They felt like her crying was fake. They talked about the makeup and her style, and she's too glamorous to be a grieving wife. So they criticized her for all of this. Okay, this is how many of the people are looking at it. But then there are others defending her and saying that people grieve differently. Okay. There are people that feel like she has an involvement in her husband's murder. There are people that were very close to Charlie who said that he loved her very dearly. He loved his wife very dearly. But they're thinking, some people, that she didn't love him the way that he loved her. Okay? Here's another clip. Let's take a look at this.
Erika Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like soaring in the air above the convention center, like a dragon above, waiting for Erika to just be like, fire. And I was just going to come down and swoop in out of nowhere. All the politicians, all the fake people, everyone was just going to be in that moment toast. But she didn't call for war. Erika did not call for war. In fact, she did the exact opposite, which is what was so stunning. It was unbelievable. The forgiveness that she granted, the strength that it took for her to call for that forgiveness, it's just unmatched, and it really made a difference. And I was being serious when I tweeted that I think it was the most consequential speech in American history, a message that everyone needed to hear, including myself, a message of complete submission to Christ. And by the way, later on, we're also going to discuss another kind of submission to Christ, which is submitting yourself to truth.
Okay, so there you have Candace stating that it's not just to submit to Christ as far as forgiving someone, but to find out the truth about Charlie's murder. She again doesn't feel like Tyler Robinson was the only one. Again, she feels like Turning Point was in on it, the organization that Charlie built, and his close people, confidants, that they were in on it. Again, she never directly, initially, she didn't directly accuse Erika, but as time went on, we'll see what happens, okay? Let's take another look at another clip here.
And his dreams alive and his legacy going. And what's so beautiful is to see all of you step in and do that.
Okay, so this was a little after Charlie's murder. And she got flack on this, Erika did. They felt like she was smiling too much to be the grieving wife. She's smiling too much. There she was talking about, I just showed a little portion of it, but she was talking about continuing her husband's legacy, his dream of putting the truth out there, his dream of telling people what is God's truth, the truth about homosexuality, the truth about the things that happen in the world, the social issues. We have to continue his legacy. But again, she got flack because people felt like that she doesn't appear to be the grieving wife, that she's too happy, she's too gleeful. So people are condemning her for this, okay? Just keep that in mind. Gonna move down. I'm gonna go into a little bit, again, those who were invited, they are models, fashion models, who are interested in being in our magazine. It's an international digital magazine, Proc Fashion. And they have the opportunity to be on the cover or on a page of Proc Fashion for 40% off. So we're gonna spin a wheel at the end of this. And the person whose name the wheel stops on will have this chance. However, there is also a chance for others that the wheel doesn't stop on to receive the 40% off. We have been part of London Fashion Week, Miami Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. Again, it's an international digital magazine. Recently, we were the media selected for New York Fashion Week. So Proc Fashion is an international digital magazine. I just kind of want to go a little over to that really quickly so that you guys can see a full magazine of Proc Fashion. Okay, that's Prague Fashion International Digital Magazine. We feature models on billboards, on the runway, on the cover of our international digital magazine, and on our website, as well as pages of our magazine. So this is an opportunity. My passion is to showcase others. It's always been. I'm a filmmaker, television producer, and owner of Prague Fashion Brand. We're also a clothing brand. So we're delighted to have you guys here again. Just wanted to take a little break and go over that as a little commercial. So we're gonna go down. Let's see, let me make sure that I lock that. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna make some phone calls to our participants, okay? Now, again, you guys voice your opinion. Make sure you comment. I'm encouraging everyone to comment in the comment section, okay? Especially the participants that are speaking to us via phone. You guys are required to comment in the comment section. So make note of that. As well as the chat. You can leave comments in the chat, but definitely in the comments section. Again, thank you, those that were invited. Make sure you let us know who invited you to the podcast, and state the name of the person who invited you, that you are commenting on their behalf, and make your comment about this subject of the late Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk, his widow, and Candace Owens. So now we're getting ready to go ahead and make our phone calls. I'm gonna first call Reham. So Reham, I hope that you're ready. And you let me know, do you think Charlie Kirk was racist? What his ideas were? Was he a bigot? What do you think? Okay. Hold on. My phone acts once they're a little crazy. Okay. Yes. Hi, is this Reham?
Yes, it is. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much. Thank you for being and joining us on our podcast, Truth or Flesh. So were you able to tune in from the very beginning?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I was. And thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so the late Charlie Kirk, give us your take on him. What did you think about him?
To be honest, I feel bad that he died the way he was murdered. I don't think the shooter is the shooter.
Wait, say that again. I didn't understand that. Say that again, please.
I said I feel bad that he was murdered, but I don't think the shooter is the shooter, and I think it was a setup. Him personally, it's different to tell if he was telling the truth or he was the right version of what he represented himself to be, but definitely something was off.
So you felt like something was off about him?
Totally.
Okay. Totally is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
And tell me quickly why you felt that.
Because.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Reham. You're going to have to speed it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. I mean, any person from the outside picture or out of the box can tell when it's a truth or it's a lie. And don't think the way he wrapped things the way it should have been wrapped. It's all about the truth. And then putting the people who was in a discussion with down and looked down to is what the name of the Lord want us to do. It doesn't work that way.
You felt like he looked down on people?
Big time.
Okay. Tell me what you think about, give me your take quickly on Erika, his wife, and Candace Owens.
Oh no, she's totally a fake person.
You think that his wife is fake?
Yeah. No widow should have been fully naked up, looking for to be the star of Hollywood at a time of a murder of a husband. No widow would have that much of a forgiveness so much sooner rather than just waiting until the investigation is done. No one knows exactly what happened, but I think she has something to do with the whole murder thing.
Okay.
Why was she so happy? Why is she so flashy? I mean, doesn't make sense.
Okay, thank you. So you feel that she's too flashy, she's too happy for her husband to have been murdered, is your take on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Reham. I greatly appreciate your take on this. Okay, so thank you so much. So stay tuned, and don't go anywhere. Thank you so much. Okay, so that was Reham's take on it. She feels like some people that Erika is too flashy, she's too gleeful, she's too happy for her husband to have been murdered. So she feels like she's a fake and that she had something to do with his murder. Okay, I'm gonna call next, we're calling Ramon. Ramon, I hope you're listening. Hold on, call trying to come in. Let me try it again, sorry. Okay, so it doesn't look like Ramon is answering. Okay, we're going to go to the next call. We're going to call Queen at this time.
Hello.
Yes, hi, is this Queen?
You've reached 812-987.
Uh-oh, Queen didn't answer.
I apologize if I...
Okay, we're going to move on to Zarina. Zarina is next. We're calling Zarina. You guys know that you must answer to be considered, okay? Next up, we have Zarina. Get my phone in a mode here.
Hello?
Yes, hi, is this Zarina?
Yes.
Hi, Zarina, how are you?
I'm good, and you, Faith?
I am wonderful, thank you so much. Okay, so did you see the very beginning?
Yes.
Okay, so give me your take on Charlie Kirk, his widow, Erika Kirk, and Candace Owens.
Looking at the video, I mean, I can't say how this woman is grieving because everyone grieves differently.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's after you lay the person that you love to rest when you can breathe and like truly grieve. With cameras and everything not around, we don't know what this woman is going through. As far as Charlie, to be honest with you, I haven't heard anything about him until like his death. But looking at the videos, I think if he was trying to do the Lord's will and tell people about Christ, you would do it in a way of love. Looking at Jesus and reading the word of God, he talks about the greatest commandment is love. So he talks about how to love your neighbor and thyself. And if you truly love people, you're not going to come as when someone attacks you, you're not going to come back and attack back. You're going to come back with love. So I think in certain ways, he felt like he was being attacked by, people coming up to the mic, and then he would, shut him down right away. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't like him per se. And then for him to talk about other things as far as like white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm an African-American woman, so I see things in the world or where I live in Arizona as far as how white people are treated compared to other races. And so it's not, it doesn't feel good. And then especially if your skin is more melanated, you don't, you're treated differently. And I have seen it, I have felt it, and it doesn't feel good. So I think and he's from this state, matter of fact, he got family out here from the state of Arizona.
Right.
So, if I feel like if he was around and really got to see how people were treated, you know what I mean? And just came and listened to them more, then he probably could have said, okay, I see where they are coming from in this aspect, instead of saying, no, you can't say that because we all can do the same job. But if you really look at it, you have white-collared men getting paid more than African-American men. Then you have, white women getting paid more than African-American women. That's not fair. And that's where people are getting upset.
Okay, so let me stop you there. Let me stop you for a minute, Zarina. So let me play the devil's advocate. So I'm just going on both sides.
Okay.
So how do you look at people like Michelle Obama or Obama? And to be honest with you, I have my issues with some things with them. So, and they're Black like I am. But I have it for a biblical reason. But how do you look at the success of Black people like Oprah Winfrey or Obama, Tyler Perry? If we are, and I'm gonna be direct with you about it, if we're held down as a people still, Black people, then how do you explain people like them? Because many of them have come from poverty. They didn't have a silver spoon in their mouth. They weren't born with a silver spoon. So how do you explain that?
Correct. So as far as them, and I'm looking at a biblical standpoint, to be honest with you, so I'm about to agree with you on a lot of things. I just can't. I can't talk about them because, to be honest with you, I don't, as far as things that Obama did, he was not, like he said in his speech, that he was going to help African-American people. He did not. So, I can't even sit here and say that that's what he did, because he didn't. Mm-hmm. As far as Tyler Perry goes, I just see him trying to help African-American people out in ways as far as getting television or in his movies, things like that. But anything that he does on a personal life or level, I can't speak on because I'm not around that. I don't see it. I can't even go off of what the media is saying. That's why I'm saying even about Charlie Kirk. I can't even go off of, he's a bigot or anything like that because, again, I didn't hear nothing about this man until he passed away.
Okay.
And then that's when everything started coming out.
Yes, I understand. So quickly, Charlie's point was that Black people are not held back now. That was back in the day, but you have an opportunity, and you do have some Black people that are able to convey that and portray that according to their success. So is it a victim mentality that we have? But I don't want to go on a tangent with that too much because we want to kind of stay on track. Now, I want to talk about Candace and Erika, his widow. What do you think about that?
To each his own. That's how I put it. Because again, Candace is going off of, I'm hurting. That was my friend. How dare his wife not, showing grief or showing like distressed. You know what I mean? And again, everyone grieves differently. So if she feels like, oh my God, my husband, he died, and this is what he was actually doing, I need to get out there and be my husband's legacy or things like that, then I can see why she's doing that. But again, we don't know how this lady is acting behind closed door. And I would never be a person like a judge, because God says, do not judge. Thou shalt not judge. So I'm not going to judge this woman, because then I have to look at my stones and the things that I have done in the past, and then have God judge me on that, because he'll judge me even greater.
Okay.
So
yes.
We just have to pray for them. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Zarina. Stay tuned.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay. That was Zarina giving her take on that. So she said that she's not going to judge Erika because she's not God. She understands her continuing her husband's legacy. And she feels like Candace is supporting her friend. Okay, so a friend that she feels like has not gotten justice for his murder. I'm going to now call Constantine. Constantine, I hope you're listening. You guys make it a little difficult for me when you don't answer, because when we spin this wheel and it stops on your name, then we have to bypass it, your name. Okay? Let me make sure that I have this correctly. Okay. I'm calling Constantine.
Hello.
Hi, Constantine. How are you?
I'm all right. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a comment in the comment section and the chat as well. Okay? So were you able to watch it from the beginning, Constantine?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, so first we're going to start with Charlie Kirk. You tell me what your take is on him.
Well, a couple of different things. He was very opinionated. I think that he kind of, saw what the country was looking for. So he took advantage of, the rising right, if you will. He played well into it. As far as what happened to him, something that wasn't mentioned was the Patrick David podcast. When he was on there, he made some comments about his donors, basically, and about Israel. And I know there's a lot of speculation in that regard that might have played a role in his untimely demise.
Okay, let me stop you for a second, Constantine. Sure. So just so the people to recap on what Constantine is saying. So Constantine was saying that he thought that Charlie took advantage of the opportunity to build a brand for himself through supporting the right. Okay, supporting the conservative movement. He also feels like that what could have played into his demise was what he said, the comment he made about the Jews. Okay, they were great donors of his, supporters, but at the end he became a little disgruntled because they did not want him to have Tucker Carlson. Okay, to be part of any programs or that kind of thing. Now I'm saying this. Constantine didn't say this, but they didn't want Tucker Carlson to be part of the platform that Charlie had, the Jews. I'll give my take on that, and hopefully I remember to but no, I'm going to say it now because I may forget. I feel like, and then I'm going to let you continue, Constantine. I feel like that, so I deal with sponsors, okay? So really any sponsor has a right to say, I don't want this and I don't want that. Sponsorship is a partnership. So when you get a sponsor, you have to do what they want you to do. You can't take their money and use it any way you want. It's a partnership. If it doesn't benefit the sponsor, then it does the sponsor no good. Sponsors want to partner with people who will benefit them. So when people said that they were controlling, the Jews were being controlling because they did not want him to associate what they were supporting financially with Tucker Carlson, they had a right to do that as a sponsor. Now, when you look at it morally or whatever, that could be a whole different story. I don't know about the depths of that, but I will say that any sponsor, when they give money, they want their money to go towards something that's going to benefit them. So they had a right. If Tucker Carlson was saying things against Jews at the time, and they felt like strongly that they did not want to support that with their money, they had a right to do that. Okay, Constantine, go ahead.
Yeah, I was also going to throw this out there. I'm, Jewish as well. So
okay.
I'm how can I say? I play it down the middle. But as far as his sponsors and as far as Tucker goes, there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff in the media about Hollywood being a tool or a propaganda machine controlled by the Jews, and that's really where that narrative kind of gained ground. But
correct.
Totally understand about the sponsors.
Yes.
Whoever pays gets to
correct.
choose the music.
So, and I hope you guys understand what Constantine is saying, because I'm having a little echo, and I just want to make sure everybody understands. Constantine is saying that the narrative out there are the Jews control Hollywood. They manipulate everything. They're very controlling. But again, in this case, they had a right, and I'm sorry, they had a right to say what they wanted to support. I don't care, Megyn Kelly, whomever can come against that, Tucker Carlson, whoever. But when you are sponsoring something, you have a right to say, this is what we want our money. It's supposed to benefit the sponsor. It's a partnership. Okay, Constantine, tell us about Erika and Candace, your take on that.
So as far as Candace, I actually do like her podcast, and I do tune in quite often. I think she is a great speaker. I do think that she is very conspiracy-oriented lately. But, lately a lot of conspiracies have been coming true, so it's kind of hard to call that. And as far as Erika goes, as the lady previous to me that was on the phone, everybody grieves differently. It does not help Erika that she has a very evil look, if I may say so. There's something with her demeanor, but it's hard to say. Even if she was a plant, if you will, because they weren't married that long, and she definitely financially benefited from this whole situation. It looks like, just going to have to wait and see what happens. But I do think that, the way she presented herself at that Turning Point, gathering and other podcasts, I guess what I'm trying to say is that most people will probably look down on that, because regardless of what kind of relationship you had with the person, good or bad, most people aren't going to make a lot of public appearances when, right after the father of their, children just got shot publicly. So that's a big turnoff.
Okay. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you, Constantine. Thank you, and stay tuned.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so Constantine just said that he felt like that he agrees with Zarina that people do grieve differently. He feels like, though, that it is suspicious of Erika to make appearances as she does. Most people are still grieving and that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about that. Is there truth to that? We're going to talk about that, okay? Next, I'm going to call Blake, okay? Next up, we have Blake. Put my glasses on, hold on. Okay. Make sure I'm dialing correctly. Okay, give it a couple more rings. Okay, so we're going to move past Blake and go into Gavri. I'm not sure if Gavri knows that we're going to call him. I did send a message earlier because we at first didn't have a lot of space, okay? Now, I'm hoping the wheel doesn't stop on somebody's name who did not answer because, again, we're going to have to move past those people, okay? Next up, we are going to have Gavri. Hello. Hi, is this Gavri?
Yeah.
Yes, how are you doing?
Podcast since the beginning. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, Gavri, so give us your take about Charlie Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk.
Well, so we should really, believe what we really know, which is not a whole lot. We know there was that shooter. In any case, a lot of people talking about Erika Kirk. Yeah, so I actually think it was a very powerful moment. I think that in that shot, there was maybe the lighting and maybe she had a little bit too much makeup on or something, but I don't know. But, we should just go by what her words were, and they were very respectful and powerful for a woman whose husband was just killed.
Okay.
Days ago, yeah.
Okay. So you felt like that her, you're speaking of the speech at the memorial. Is that what you're speaking about?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And with Charlie Kirk, do you think that he was a racist or a bigot or?
Not at all.
Not at all.
He was very much quite the opposite.
Okay. You believe he was the opposite. And why do you believe that?
Well, there were many people on his team that were, multicolored. He didn't really see race as much of a thing.
Okay.
Like an issue or like anything. People say, I'm colorblind or I don't see race and stuff. Of course, we do naturally, but anthropologically speaking, we know it's not really. I think it's a social construct, really.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let me just kind of recap on Gavri. Gavri said that he thought that Erika's speech was very powerful at her husband's memorial. Okay. Some people look at her as a pillar. Okay. While others look at her as fake. Okay. Some people feels that she's a strong pillar standing in the place of her husband. Now, I just want to make it very clear that her husband asked her to become the CEO if something were to happen to him. See, a lot of people don't know that. So I just want to make that very clear that that was her husband's request. Because people say, well, why would she want to be the CEO? She just wants to be in the limelight. She wants to be in the spotlight. That was her husband's request. Okay. Gavry said that it was very powerful. And he said that he doesn't think at all that Charlie Kirk was a bigot or a racist. He was just the opposite because he had people on his team that were of different races. Okay. Gavry, give me your take on Candace Owens.
So I was a huge fan of hers around 2020.
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing, and I think it was because at the time there was a big racial divide during the lockdowns, and everything was very political.
Mm-hmm.
And she was an amazing Black voice for the people, for me to know that, you know, there really isn't this whole white-black divide, that we really are, you know, there's not this big race division between us in the politics.
Okay.
Anyways, I even bought one of her books, but lately she's just been going in places that I don't think she has any specialty to.
Okay.
And she's just going in areas. And there's a clip that she actually said that Charlie Kirk told her that he was a time traveler.
Right.
After I saw that clip, I'm sorry, maybe the clip is doctored and that'd be wonderful. But that clip just really got me to lose faith in her.
Okay. I greatly appreciate you, Gavry. Stay tuned. I greatly appreciate your input on this. Stay tuned now. Thank you. Okay, so I kind of want to recap on what Gavry said. He said that at one time back in 2020, during the lockdown of COVID, he was definitely into what Candace was saying, but now she's kind of gone off. And she said that Charlie Kirk once told her that she was a time traveler. And I'm hearing people say she's off her rocks, that mentally there seems to be something going on. Okay, I don't know if that's the case, but I'm going to expound on some things. Okay, so I'm going to move forward a little bit. I want to show you guys a few more little clips, and then we're going to move forward and spin the wheel. Okay. I want to show Charlie in a different light. Okay, so we saw some videos of him where people said that he was dogmatic, that he was racist. Okay, so I want to show him in a different light here.
There's a creator that wants to get to know you, that gave you a gift so that you can live forever. You're broken by your nature. You're not going to get enough points on the scoreboard to get you to eternal life. And there is a gift that you can accept that can get you there. The gospel in 4 words is Jesus took my place. The gospel in 3 words is him for me. 2 words, substitutionary atonement, and 1 word, grace. What is grace? We say that a lot. Amazing grace. Well, first we must talk about what justice is. Justice is getting what you deserve, a prison sentence. A judge comes in and say, you broke into the store, you get a year in prison. Mercy is you go in front of the judge, they say, you broke in the store, but you serve a month in prison instead of a year. It's getting less of a sentence. But grace is at your sentencing hearing when someone shows up and says, I'll serve the prison sentence for that guy.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith.
But we have a problem in the country. You're not a racist. As often as I've been around you, you've never said anything that has been racist. But the left, they constantly say that you're racist. And if we don't talk about the problem that they're trying to create, it will never go away.
I'm exhausted with talking about race all the time, right? I'm happy to also push back on like who's actually the ones that are being racist, and the people that are pushing black-only dormitories in America, that's racist.
Exactly.
Right? The people that are saying that we should have value on skin color and not content of character, that's racist. I feel as if when you focus on those issues, like, man, we're just constantly talking about what divides us, right? And I think you understand my heart in that way.
Exactly, but it's only the left that's constantly pushing that. They're constantly pushing it, and I get it all the time. So thank you.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's Charlie in a different light. Charlie professed to be a Christian. Now, Zarina made a point, and she says that if we're Christians, we're supposed to come in love, okay? So, and I agree with Zarina on that, but what is love? What is love? Because sometimes we think that love is to condone or be nice and sweet. So if your child was to come to you and tell you that they're into drugs, would you sugarcoat and say, oh, my sweet baby? Well, you know what? Sometimes we fall short, but that's okay. You'll be okay. Or would you say that this is detrimental to you and it's going to hurt you and it's a foolish thing you're doing? What is love? The Bible says to love is to reprove, is to correct. So sometimes what we call love is nicey, nicey, sweetie, sweetie. But love, Jesus said that he didn't come into the world to bring peace. Now, a lot of people don't know that. Jesus said, I come to bring a sword. So people don't understand that Jesus didn't come to bring peace at that time. Now, ultimately, peace will take place when Jesus returns. But Jesus came to bring a sword. In other words, what he was saying is there would be mother against daughter, son against father. There would be people who believe in me in the household and others who don't. And it's going to bring division. So Jesus didn't come to bring peace. He came to bring truth. And truth is not always nice. It doesn't always seem nice. So Charlie Kirk, do I think that the way he conveyed something all the time could have been the best? No. He was human. We're all human. None of us say things the way that it should always be said. But Charlie was a truth teller. Okay? Now, I'm going to show a few more clips that show that. Okay? Let me come down here.
Are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s.
Yes. Why do you think that is?
Good question.
I'm going to pause. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to keep going back and forth to break this down. The way he says this, if you don't know Charlie Kirk about anything, a white guy saying black Americans are poor and stuff like that, just the way his delivery, one might say, man, who is this random guy talking about the black community? But let's continue to listen to what he's saying.
So we have the Civil Rights Act, we have more benefits, more government programs. Something changed between the 1950s and 2024. So there's two answers to this question. Either America got more racist since 1950s to 2024. So like that 70-year period, because black Americans are worse off today per capita.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Was there anything about what he just said that was false? You see, what people are missing is the message that he was preaching right now. It is a hard pill to swallow, especially coming from a black man. It is a hard pill to swallow to know that people within my own community, that 75% of black kids don't grow up without a father in the home. That's a hard pill to swallow because I know we can be better.
Okay. So Charlie talked about that quite often. And he said in the black community, 75% of black kids grow up without a father. Okay? Now, there are many people who don't like to hear that, but it's truth. Or it's true. Let me just say true, because there's a difference between true and truth. That is true. And it's sad to say, but as the man said, who we just witnessed, we just looked at him, he said, I'm a black man, and that's a bitter pill to swallow, to hear somebody say that coming from a white man saying it. But it's true. And so there were many black men that were very angry when Charlie said this. You know why? Because what is true hurts. Okay? Now, did Charlie always say things the sweetest way? No. But a lot of what Charlie said was true. Okay? When Zarina and I were talking, and she says, well, and please understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. But do you know there are black people who are just as racist as white people? This was Charlie's point on that. He said, why throw every white person in as a racist? You're a white supremacist because you're white? Is it their fault because they're born white? Because there are some of us, black people, and I'm sorry, I just have to say it, who could be just as racist as white people. Now, anybody who's racist, they are wrong. That is evil. It's wrong. Who are we to look down on someone else? But his point was, and as I said to Zarina earlier, Zarina was like, well, you know, they're discriminated. And again, I'm not saying that that does not happen, that discrimination doesn't happen in the corporate world, in the world today. I'm not saying that, but you are able to rise above anything. And this is the land of plenty of milk and honey in America. You could be what you want to be. And notice that the black girl said to Charlie in the first clip, one of the earlier clips that I showed you guys, he says, well, what is it that you can't do that I can do as a white person? What can't you do as a black person? She says, nothing, you can do it. But she was asking him, why doesn't he believe that there's a such thing as white privilege? And his point was, what's holding you back as a black person? See, sometimes we like to have an excuse for not rising above where we can be in life. So we want to blame somebody. And again, I'm not saying racism doesn't exist, but I find that a lot of black people are just as racist against whites as they are against us. I'm sorry, I got to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. Okay? And it's all wrong. Okay? Let's go down to another clip. Okay? This is Candace here.
This is Candace Owens.
No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erika Kirk has the power to shut me up right now.
And this is also Candace Owens.
There's nobody that has the capacity to get me to shut up about this except for Erika Kirk.
Right. And this is also Candace Owens.
On that day, I'm not going to stop unless Erika Kirk asks me to stop.
This is Erika Kirk.
You go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family. When you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, but this is not okay.
Yeah, well, that must mean that Candace Owens is...
It's a no from me, but you know me. I'm just out here.
What?
She says no. So Candace just said no there. Now, initially, pay attention to what she said. She said, nobody can shut me up. So initially, she did not accuse Erika directly of killing her husband. She alluded to it. She blamed TPUSA and said that they had something to do with his murder. But when Erika did speak out, and I'm getting ready to get direct about it now. So nobody wants to be accused of murder. I want everybody to put themselves in that place. I don't care how you think I act after my husband dies. It's not your place to say how I should act. Erika stated that her whole intentions were to continue her husband's legacy, and that's where her mind was. Erika's whole intention was, I gotta do this. I gotta keep my husband's dream going. So that she's been like an engine going. I gotta do it. I can't let it die. That's been a fear of hers, to let her husband's legacy die. So that's why she's been so in tune to keeping it going. Plus, her husband requested it. He requested for his wife to continue on the mission. But people judge that. Now, if it were one of us that somebody was accusing of murdering our husband because I got on too much makeup, or my clothes are too glittery for you, it's a sin and a shame. I'm sorry. This is, and I wanted to hear people's take on this. There is a such thing, and this is what God tells us, as a righteous judgment and an unrighteous judgment. Unrighteous judgment is to give your viewpoint on something, and it's not God's view. It's your gut feel. Oh, I have a gut feeling that she looks strange. It's the way she looks in her face. I don't like the way she looked and she cut her eye. Oh, she has on too much makeup. She wears a very elegant clothing. She killed her husband. Is that a reason for somebody to kill their husband? She didn't grieve enough. She didn't cry enough in front of me. So she's guilty. But remember this, and this is what I say to everybody. We're all waking up to die. We're all going to stand before God, whether anybody believes that or not. We're all going to stand before the judgment seat of God and give an account for what we do, say, how we act, how we live, the things we do to other people. I'm going to continue. I have a few more clips, and then we're going to move on. Okay?
I want there to be no hesitation in understanding of what happened to my husband that day. I want there to always be full transparency, because what I don't want to have happen is for there not to be, and then I am relying then on social media and other news outlets to explain the narrative rather than saying, hey, this is what happened, this is what here's all of the, it's just as hard, all of the facts on the table for you guys to see, and you guys can see on full display what happened to my husband, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts or confusion as to who did it and why.
I don't believe her at all. That wasn't convincing. I don't know what was hard about getting that sentence out. That seems remarkably rehearsed. It almost just seems like she forgot a line. Nothing in her eyes there makes you believe it. She's telling the truth, but beyond the eyes, just the actions, right? You can judge people by their actions, Erika. If she truly wanted more transparency, she could provide it, because you don't need it in a courtroom.
I beg to differ. She just said you judge people by their actions. So the actions that she's looking at are surfaced. She's capitalizing, and I'm speaking of Candace, she's using an argument over a human error. So Erika stumbled there. We've all done that when we're talking. So you judge her. So who are you to tell me you don't believe me because I stumbled over some words? Is that righteous judgment? Is that truth? Or is that human perspective? Sinful human perspective. Oh, it's the way she looked. She stumbled over her words. She must be guilty. This is a sin and a shame. It's appalling what she's doing to this woman. Okay? I'm coming on down. Okay?
Lastly, the Nicole writes, I just miss Charlie as an audience member, would, after the years of listening, not only seeing his content come up, just continues to remind me it won't ever be the same. Thank you, Candace, for doing what others won't. I'm praying for you. Christ is King. There will never be another Charlie. And, you know, I still kind of go through the emotions, and sometimes I'm like angry at him, even though he's not here. Whereas I'm just like, man, when I see him again, I'm just going to be like, you should have listened to me. I told you all of these people, you know, I told you that just because it's in a ball gown at Mar-a-Lago doesn't mean it's not a gangster. And so his naivety about some of the stuff frustrates me.
So people talked about how she made Charlie out to be very naive. Listen to what she said about her supposed friend. He was naive. So that got him killed. He didn't listen to me, to Candace. With friends like Candace, who needs enemies? So she's painting her friend that she's supposed to really care about, his murder, out to be very naive. But you haven't seen anything yet. Okay? Come on down.
We are told that Erika Francis was raised by a strong, independent, entrepreneurial, single mother who taught her how to be a good Christian, a devout Catholic mother. She's been married 4 times that I can see. We'll talk about that more down the line. More importantly, though, you will recall that Erika sat down for an in-person interview with the New York Times days after Charlie was publicly assassinated, and she confirmed to them that the least traumatizing part about Charlie's assassination was the prospect of her now having to raise her children alone, because she had seen the example set for her by her mother growing up. The only problem is that it's just not true. Erika's father, Kent Fronsvay, by the way, he's Kenneth Fronsvay, but he goes by Kent, was always in her life. So much so that for entire years of her childhood, Kent was actually a stay-at-home dad.
My dad was a stay-at-home dad for a few years, and I gotta say, it was really sweet and really special. I was 4, but...
Now, to be clear, Erika was 10 years old when her parents divorced in 1998, so her father was very...
Okay. So is truth what is true, or is truth different from what is true? And just because something is true doesn't make it truth. Okay? So this woman, Candace, has dug into Erika's life. Let me ask you a question. What if somebody did that to you? Because all of us got some skeletons in our parents have gone through, they've been divorced, there have been arguments in households. What if somebody did that to you? Does this seem like somebody's trying to resolve her friend's murder or gossiping? This is nothing but slander. It's slander, and it's against the will of God. Okay? I wanted to show the earlier clip that I showed you guys with her saying she doesn't hate. Now, there have been some problems with her and Charlie that came out later. Okay? And some people would say, well, isn't this gossip faith with you discussing this? No, there's one thing to initiate and dog somebody out and drag them and slander them. And it's another thing to expose it. And God wants us to expose something that's sinful. She's not doing an investigation. She is digging up dirt on Erika. Did you see her say that Erika's mother was married 4 times and that Erika lied about being raised by a single mother? Just because there were men in the household doesn't mean that they raised her. How long was she married to the men? And just because they're there doesn't mean that they were the ones raising Erika. This is all slander and gossip. Is this truth? Because according to what I know about what the Bible says, truth means righteousness. Truth means holiness. Truth means virtue, good. It's not to gossip about somebody. So it was said, and I'm going to let you guys listen to 2 guys that knew Candace back when she was with Charlie, and they exposed her. Let's go further. We're about to wrap it up. Okay, I just want to show this one really quickly first, though.
Later, on May 1st, the public was informed that I was resigning from my position as the communications director of Turning Point USA. Now, there has been a lot of public speculation as to what led to that decision. The media ran with it was anti-Semitism or some disagreement about Kanye West, but that wasn't true. None of that was true. The truth, and I think that you very well know what the truth is, because you were around for it, is that Charlie and I had a disagreement which fractured my trust in him. He did something that he had never done before. He lied to my face about money. Now, in retrospect, I believe that the manner in which I discovered the lie might have been by design, but there's no need for us to delve into conspiracy when the facts are plenty enough. Charlie had taken a meeting down in Florida with Ike Perlmutter at Mar-a-Lago. It was a fundraising meeting. For whatever reason, he did not want me to know about this meeting, and that was strange. It was meant to be kept a secret. Strange because we had always collaborated on and taken those sorts of meetings together. Anyway, I found out about it, and I decided to ask him casually as we were riding up an elevator at the Trump Hotel in D.C. I said to him, have you heard from Ike recently? And he looked me right in the face, just as he was getting off on his floor. And he said, no, I haven't. I haven't heard from him in like 2 weeks. And I then said back to him, really really, Charlie? Because you had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, and I saw his stomach drop. His entire face looked, as if he was going down a roller coaster. He stuck his arm back in the elevator really quickly and tried to explain it away. He then pivoted toward an apology, but obviously the damage was done. And if I'm being honest, I was as hurt as I was shocked and confused by it because we were close.
Okay. So this is a dead man. He's dead. He's not here to defend himself. And I saw people on social media say, how can a friend do this to a friend? So this is supposed to be her trying to resolve her friend's murder, but she's dogging him out and he's dead. Is that truth? Because truth means righteous. Truth means holiness. Truth means goodness. Is that truth? Or is it slander? Is it gossip? So you're going to see some clips where two people that knew them back in the day that said that Candace was fired from Turning Point USA. And you'll see this clip that demonstrates how Charlie really felt about her. He was very respectful because he didn't tell the world about her, how she really was. Okay? So you guys could find the extension of these clips. Okay, I'm going to give you the names of the people so you can look at it as a whole. This is nothing but slander and gossip, has nothing to do with truth. Let me say this. If you were, ladies, a prostitute when you were younger, and you have a friend who knows that you were a prostitute, and I hope there are no kids around because I'm getting ready to be totally direct, straight to the point. And you had a friend who knew you were a prostitute, because we've all done wrong. And they go and slander you and tell the whole world that you were a prostitute. Okay? Would that be truth? Or is it true? See, something can be true, your experience that you were a prostitute, but it doesn't mean it's truth to go and slander someone and tell the world that. That's against God's will. Just because something may be true doesn't mean that it's truth. And it doesn't mean that any of that is true about Erika that she's saying, but let's just say it is. If you go back, and I couldn't pull up every little clip for you guys, but there is a clip of Candace in that same clip that I showed you guys earlier when she said, hate eats at the person who hates. That same clip, okay? She talked about her family and how her mother and her weren't close and how there was a divide and how she had a lot of drug addicts in her family or people who went to jail. Okay, it was people who went to jail is what she said. I'm going to retract that as far as the drugs, but people who went to jail. She said a lot of people in her family. We all have something in our family. Is that a reason to slander somebody or accuse them of murder because they don't look the way we think they should look, or they have on too much makeup, too much glamour? That's not truth. That's your human perspective on somebody. We could all do each other like that and slander each other. I'm getting ready to go over to my last two clips. Okay.
Charlie at some point saw what was behind Candace Owens' eyes. And all he wanted to do was figure out a way to appease her enough to not have her turn against Turning Point, because you're seeing what happens when Candace Owens decides she wants to destroy something, somebody, someone, some movement, whatever it may be. Charlie lived in fear of Candace. Not because he didn't believe that he could defeat her, but we had elections to win, and it looked best to look as a united front in front of the world so we could win this elections. And he knew of what she was capable of doing if he did not.
That's Graham Allen, Graham Allen was part of Turning Point early on, when it was right on the ground level. So he knew Candace. Candace approached Charlie Kirk and said, "Hi, I'm Candace Owens. I'm a Black conservative, and I want to be part of your team." Okay? She was really a Democrat, but she portrayed to be a conservative to hop on the bandwagon and be part of that. All of the story is all out there. You can research this. Graham Allen, who you guys just saw, he said that Charlie would avoid her at all costs. But people think that this was a friend of his. He knew how Candace was. He saw now, let's go back to the clip that you guys saw when she said that she confronted him in the elevator, that he lied to her. Charlie knew she was like that, vindictive, exposing things that not necessarily true, just her feelings on things. If you see that clip of Graham Allen that I just showed you guys, the full episode of his show, you will see that he said that many of the people at Turning Point could not stand her because she stirred up a lot of mess. But people say she's resolving her friend's murder. This is nothing but gossip. It's slander. And Erika has told her that her life has been threatened by what Candace is putting out there about her, that she believes that she killed her husband. And Turning Point USA, they have gotten death threats, and Candace continues to do it. And people that are seeing it are saying it's for clicks and money. She gets lots of money from sponsors. And sponsors, if it's going to make them money, they don't care. If it benefits them, they don't care how you're slandering somebody. Let's look at one last clip. This is Dave Rubin.
Candace Owens, I'm always hesitant to talk about Candace these days because it seems clear to me, as confirmed by Jeremy Boring, that she is intentionally saying all this stuff in order to garner as much attention. It's very cynical. But at the same time, I feel like we still need to talk about it because when I look at the amount of traction she gets online, a lot of people are being influenced by her, and therefore we do need to call her out. And you've done this. And one of the posts that drew a lot of attention recently was this tweet you wrote where you basically said that Candace Owens, back even in 2022, said that she really disliked Charlie. Now, we know that she, from what I understand, was not at Charlie's wedding. You know, that's quite surprising given how close they supposedly were. And this kind of caricature she's trying to give, like she is Charlie's warrior fighting for the truth while, he's no longer here on Earth. It's so, you're basically saying this is not just obvious based on the crazy conspiracy theories, but from actual prior knowledge that you have. Do you mind just, first of all, elaborating on this a little bit? And when, you've kind of had a lot of contact communication with Candace, when did it start to become clear to you that she was going down this path, or was this always the kind of the path she was on?
Sure. So as it pertains to that tweet, yeah, look, I that's just from a couple of weeks ago. I had been sitting on that for the last couple of months because I've really tried not to make it personal and go after her that way. And there's been little hits here and there, or she does talk about me quite a bit on her show. I just don't feel like giving her what she wants, which is more attention. For some reason that morning, I don't know exactly what it was. I was just like, you know what, this last thing that's been sitting in my head that I know to be true, that her and her husband came over for dinner that night. We had that chicken parmesan that she would always request we make for her. And for an hour, she was ranting and raving about how awful Charlie is and he's a sellout and he doesn't believe.
Okay, guys, so she's painted a picture that she's trying to resolve her friend's murder. But Dave Rubin is one who knew her and Charlie, and she would go to dinner with the guy you guys just saw. She sat at his table, and she said she hated Charlie. She didn't like him. And Dave Rubin talks about this. He said it bothered him because he knew the truth, that she really didn't like Charlie. that she really didn't like him, but she's capitalizing off his death to make people think she was his friend. That's why she's doing this, an investigation. But when you're a friend, you're not going to tear down your friend's wife. Okay? So let me just show this and then we're done. Here are some scriptures. Romans 8:6-8. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. The mind governed by the flesh is hostile to God. It does not submit to God's law, nor can it do so. Those who are in the realm of the flesh cannot please God. John 7:24. Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Proverbs 16:28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Proverbs 20:19. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid a man who talks too much. The Bible is gender free. So when it says a man, is talking about mankind. There is nobody that can love somebody that would stir up this type of gossip about them. There are too many people that have come forward and said that Candace did not like Charlie for real, in real life. That she held some grudges about him letting her go from Turning Point USA. But she pretended to the world that she was his friend. That's why she's doing this investigation. So she has the new documentary out, okay, the bride of Charlie, against Erika. But one thing that I can say on Erika's behalf, she has been a woman of class. Not one time has she attacked her back. Not one time. Not one time has she tried to defend herself. Not one time. And she has said when she was on a news show, she said, I'm going to let the Lord fight my battle. I'm appalled at how many people think that this is truth that Candace is doing. You don't know how God operates? He doesn't operate according to gossip. He's a God of holiness and righteousness. Okay? It's not slander. I'm very appalled that somehow some people think that this is truth. Truth means God. Something can be true, but it's not the truth. Truth means holiness. Just because someone was a prostitute doesn't mean you should run around telling the world they were a prostitute. It's wrong. It's sinful. And Candace, like all of us, she has to stand before God and give an account for doing this just for clicks and money. It is a shame for us to judge someone because she looks suspicious to me. I don't like the makeup she has on, her eyes, her face. People can do us like that and say that we murdered somebody because they don't like the way we look. That's not righteous judgment. It's not truth. It's flesh. It's human, sinful perspective. Okay, guys? So I get a little stirred up about this. This is absolutely appalling at what she has done to her, slandering her. But God has the last word. We're going to go now with the wheel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you drop the comments. It is very important that you drop your comments, okay? That is a requirement also, guys. So please do that. I love you guys. I really appreciate you. And I love you with the love of the Lord to tell the truth. Truth hurts sometimes, and not somebody's opinion because of how somebody looked or that they dug into somebody's background. That's not truth. But to tell you what God loves. God loves when we correct one another in truth, in what is right. It's wrong to judge somebody according to the way they look. They look suspicious to me. Just because they look suspicious to you doesn't mean that they're guilty. That's your human perspective. What if somebody did you like that? Okay, we're going to spin the wheel. Make sure you guys drop the comments. If it stops on someone's name who did not answer their phone, we're going to move on and spin it again. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me see who it is. I'm gonna have to go with what is about. It's on Constantine. It stopped on Constantine. Okay? It stopped on Constantine. Hold on, my phone, on Constantine. So you will be featured on a page or on the cover. It is up to you. A Prog Fashion International digital magazine. Thank you guys. I so appreciate you, Constantine. Thank you so much, everyone. We're happy to feature you guys. You have an opportunity if you got someone to comment in the comment section, 3 people at least to comment, then you have that offer as well. Okay, you have that opportunity to either be on the cover. So I mentioned the page, but either on the cover for 40% off or on a page of Prog Fashion. I want to let you guys know we are preparing for our runway show. It's a virtual show competition. It's going to be online. It's a swimwear competition in June. I will be setting the date very soon. So I want you guys to stay tuned to that. You will be submitting your videos for that. It's going to be swimwear. Okay? So it is a competition, and the winning model will be featured on the cover of the magazine, as well as we're going to give away cash prize. Okay, a cash prize. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate all of you guys. Be blessed, and remember that truth means God. It doesn't mean my opinion as my sinful human perspective as a human being. It means what is righteous, not our perspective. Okay? Thank you guys again. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure I'm going to start having this regularly and letting you guys know the dates that we will have this.